Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 18-day Thursday. We've got the weekend um, heading towards us here pretty quickly. I like Buffalo tonight. Play well against Miami. I mean, no hot take there. I think they're 12 and a half, 13-point favorites, something of that nature. But anyways, hopefully I'll have Mad New Yorker here shortly. Hasn't come up yet, but we'll talk about this week's biggest games. I'll get his thoughts on Clemson losing, and of course Joe Burrow's injury and whatnot, and anything else he may want to add. And of course, we'll go over this week's biggest game. Plus, this is a very good game in college, overlooked game. Auburn and Oklahoma. Talk a little bit about that one as well. So stand by, everybody. We'll be back here shortly, and we'll get the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. Okay, looks like my man has just popped up in the room back there. We'll have the Mad New Yorker here on Sound like we got a good crowd tonight. How you doing, man?
How's it going? Happy Thursday. Thanks for having me on.
Thursday at last, and that's good sound too. Sounds really good. Thursday at last. The way the Martin Luther King would say. Doing a little. Oh God, what was the name of that? Coming to America. Remember how they were calling Martin Luther the King?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were all one guy. It's Eddie Murphy. He's playing everybody in the barbershop. But anyways.
Yeah, he played three guys, and Arsenio Hall played one.
Yeah. He also played the white Jewish guy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, all that makeup. He kicked Joe Lewis's rear end. But
crazy.
Anyway,
he must be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. You know, I mean, it was probably one of his funniest movies, if not the funniest Eddie Murphy movie out there. And it was done in '88. Wouldn't you say it's probably his? I mean, I know Nutty Professor was good.
I think there's I like Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, it was very good. That's an action movie, but it has some funny lines in it. The first one.
Yeah, I like him for what he's done. Like he's done, he's up there. He's one of the greatest, and because he didn't have to be stupid funny. He was quick funny, So
yeah,
he's legit.
He can do the voice, and he helped other comedians too. He put not to get too much on this, but he put Chris Rock in Beverly Hills Cop 2, if you remember that.
Yep.
He put him on, and Chris Rock was thankful. And of course, he put in Nutty Professor. He put Dave Chappelle was the comedian in Nutty Professor. That was back in 2000. So yeah, he'll put a young comedian on in a minute. He's not one of those guys that don't want to share the spotlight.
Right.
Yeah. Well, a few things here, man. We talked about Joe Burrow before. I know the line is bad. I know the ownership isn't great there at Cincinnati. But I will say he does have a tendency to hang on to the ball a little too long. He wants that big play. He's got those. He still, in a sense, think he's back at LSU where he's got 4 or 5 seconds to hit. He thinks he can hit Jamar Chase for a 70-yard pass every other play. Sometimes I do give him some of the blame here. I don't think it's all on the. I was thinking about this the last few days. They did pay Orlando Brown a lot of money at left tackle. I guess my question to you is what you think about that injury, but also is the season over for the Cincinnati Bengals in your opinion?
Well, they say it's up to 3 months. They say he
Yeah.
could be back as close as 2 months. That's half the season if you put it into weeks. You break it down into weeks and games. Um, but what Cincinnati does getting a quarterback will depend on whether the season's over. Like they have the talent there to be competitive. Um, and they had to think about this somehow or another, right? Because if Joe Burrow hasn't played one full season,
I
right?
don't think he's played 17 games all year.
Right.
That's an interesting statement there, and that is a truthful statement. I do not recall him playing 17 games a whole season. So that's turning into a real thing now.
Right. And that was something that was mentioned and I think anybody who has opportunity to watch a Netflix quarterbacks series
That's
that
a
they
great. I
have,
love that.
and he kind of talks about it like he doesn't want to go down as his legacy. He doesn't want. I'm not gonna put it all out there because you guys should watch it, but he mentioned something about his legacy, and he doesn't want to be known as a quarterback that's always injured. And somewhere that I'm not quoting him word for word, but that's the idea that he put out there as one of the things that he said, and it's somewhere
Yeah.
it's somewhere in that series. So, um, you guys, if there are fans out there of football, of NFL, of quarterbacks, um, you should watch this series, man. It's the first and the second series. They're about different quarterbacks around the league, and they do a really good job. And um, you get a little bit more your perspective about how and what a quarterback does. Kind of does broaden after watching this show, especially some of these guys and some of these teams that they're on, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I have a new respect for Kirk Cousins after watching the first one. Like and Jared Goff, as much as I dislike him as a starting quarterback, I got a little bit more respect for him, and
Yeah, it's a lot they
so
got to go through, and I will say to the
yeah,
audience, yeah, he did play 17 games last year, Joe Burrow, but that's the only year he's played 17 games, and he's been in the league since 2020. He guy's 29 years old,
right,
so
right, right.
you know that's still not good.
But
And
he
he's
did,
going to miss the majority of the season, like you said, probably at least 10 games. I would say,
yeah.
you know, that's over half 17 game season. I mean,
Right. So
that's not good.
yeah, my hope for Cincinnati is for them to stay competitive. The division they're in it's a really strong division. You know, they need to be uh not what everybody who's got a contract there should be vying for keeping the job and staying on that contract, right?
Yeah,
Because now you have to put out, now you don't have a player that allows you to extend the game a little bit to show your skills off. Now you have to work for it. So um and I feel like sometimes that's just the card you get dealt when you're playing football, because you're never going to have a team that's always healthy 100%. So
yeah. It's next man up now. It sounds like you're leaning towards they're still going to be in the playoff hunt with Browning at quarterback.
I feel like they can win a few games and be competitive. I'm not going to call them a playoff team, um, but it's possible, right? They can.
Yeah,
That division's so tough, so they could sneak in possibly. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They would be competing as a wild card, and with Steelers losing last week, that helped them.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
with Denver losing last week, that helped them. Those are going to be some teams they're going to be competing with, for a wild card spot.
for a wild card spot, yeah. So
Yeah,
luckily, the league has more teams that are in the middle than they do have great teams that will come out to be playoff teams. So
yeah, and Browning went 4-3 a couple years ago. Um, I looked at their schedule. They really have a shot to do it. I mean, they play Minnesota this weekend, and Minnesota's got Carson Wentz playing, so it's backup on backup. Now it's in Minnesota. Maybe they lose that game,
But it was a great rally by Browning against Jacksonville, by the way, which nailed that score 31-27 on the money last week. And I guess that's a good transition. What's your thoughts about that game? Wild shootout as predicted.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that Jacksonville got back on track, and they played a good first game, and I was thinking maybe they can go on and roll in on that, and you know they're gonna have a good season, I think, and I think if you're on one of those teams in the AFC, you got to watch out for them. So don't lose to them and make it the reason why you're not in the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. That's true. They a little bit of a back and forth with the head coach there, and I don't know if you saw it clip going around with Trevor Lawrence and I think his name is Elam, the coach there, telling it Lawrence missed a wide open receiver, and he's like, "Man, put it on his chest, put it on his chest," and Lawrence like, "Okay, man," kind of waved him off a little bit. This guy's very young, not too far away from Lawrence there in age. He's in his 30s. I didn't make anything of it. I think it's his coaching heart. I've seen Brady blow up on Josh McDaniels, but they put together some good game plans over the years. What do you think about that? Or you think, well, it is what it is, or it could be something big later on?
It's a heat of the moment thing. Just don't. If I'm Lawrence, you don't have to worry about losing your job. So just do your job and do it well. Like take the criticism for what it is, because you're getting paid no matter what they say about you, whether you're doing great or you're doing bad. So it's time to grow up, show up, and put it out in the field. So any other guy in his position would just it's. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. He's been doing it for like 20 years. So
yeah, true. Peyton Manning once waved off Tony Dungy when he's trying to run the kick team on. So Dungy didn't make a big deal out of it, but that just kind of crossed my mind as we was thinking about it. Another topic off to the games, but we knocked that game out. Recap that one. Man, both of us picked Dabo Swinney and Clemson to win the national championship. They've already got 2 losses. To Georgia Tech now, I think they're probably out of it, considering the fact that I think they got Florida State later. Plus, they got to play the ACC championship game if they make it there. What's your thoughts on Clemson? Huge disappointment, in my opinion.
It's too early to tell. The 2 losses does not help the case for Coach of the Year, But some of these things. One of the good things about Dabo Swinney teams is that they're always in the game. They're always going to be trying to get the last yard, trying to get the last field goal, trying to get the last touchdown. So that's how he coaches them up. He's got a never die attitude. The guys run through the wall for him. I don't sense that it's over for Clemson, in a sense where some of these teams have to show up and play big games. Florida State has to go out there and beat up on Clemson for that team. So and I'm not sure that in the ACC much any more teams can be like, we're going to beat up on Clemson. They're going to play games. They're going to be close, and they better hope that they're in it to win it, either team, Clemson or whoever they play. So I don't think any team in the ACC wants to play Clemson.
Yeah, they got Florida State. They got South Carolina, who just lost to Vanderbilt.
Right.
And of course they would play Miami in the ACC championship game. So yeah, it's doable. You're right. It's doable.
Yeah, it's still doable. I'm not counting them out. I think that they're one of the teams on all of the NCAA stratosphere that's deep. And when I say deep, they got 5-star, 4 stars, 2 to 3 players in each position. So I'm watching them and I'm thinking, man, they should have won this game. But then I can't say that because they lost 2 games, they're not going to be in the hunt later in the season. Because things happen during the season that can turn a season wild. Like, it's football,
Yeah.
It's not NBA basketball. It's not NHL. It's not a season that's long and you can kind of, play down and then play back up. This is what it is. You got to get those games in. You got to get them in. And you got to get them done. You got to get the win. So, And I'm sure if anybody can handle it, it's a team like Dabo Swinney's. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Did you see him the other day? I played it on the program. He was at saying, "Well, if y'all want me to go, I'll go coach somewhere else." He was
Right.
really kind of irritated with the media.
The media makes it. Yeah, the media's making it worse than what it. The media's making it seem like because they lost 2 games, they have nowhere to sniff around for a
Well,
championship.
they've
And
only
that
played 3, Carlos.
you know what I'm saying? Like
That ain't good, man. That ain't good. Although people saying Georgia, I remember Kirk Herbstreit did say Georgia Tech was a dark horse this year, and sure enough, so far with wins over Colorado, who seems to be just okay, but it was at Colorado and beating Clemson like that. Yeah, Georgia Tech could very well be a dark horse, though.
Yeah,
You know,
and remember, Georgia Tech almost won the first game last season. Remember, it went to
the
the
coach
it went
is
close
going to
to
be a
the end of
hot
the game.
commodity for a bigger job. You know.
Yeah, so they're not a bad team either. So
Yeah.
we'll
No.
you know we'll I think they'll be all right. They're gonna be okay, and I don't think Dabo should be worried about finding a job. I think he should be worried about just the football game in the moment. You know, the football
Yeah.
team, and what I feel about that is that he's pushing all the right buttons, but these kids ain't running ain't running ain't running the route that it's like his controller is like a little bit delayed,
Right.
But it'll
Yeah.
it's sometimes it takes a few games for these kids to get in the flow of things, and I feel like for Clemson, the team that they are, the coaching staff that they have, the excitement that's out there, they still have an opportunity, and if they catch that flow, man, just be careful. I'm honest. I'm being honest. I don't feel like there's any team out there that thinks that they're gonna be whipping up on a Clemson team. I think they're just thinking like we got to go in there, we got to compete and try to get that win. So
Yeah. I just get a sense he may be wearing thin there. 17 years. He's starting to get a little cranky. Maybe may need a change of scenery. Do you see if the right opportunity, like a Justin Herbert situation with the Chargers, you think maybe he would take a shot at the NFL if one of those quarterback situations come up?
I've never heard Sweeney ever talk about wanting to be an NFL coach per se.
Yeah.
If an opportunity comes open, I think he's gonna do exactly what any college university coach does, is look at the situation and see if it's something that they could be like that they can actually like be successful in, right? So this Jets coaches opens up, and you didn't see every college coach jump at that situation. Like some of these teams open up, and you're not seeing these university coaches getting all excited about jumping into those situations. So it has to be the right fit, the right time, and the right team. Like it just and again, I never heard Sweeney talk about coaching in the NFL. He's always said that.
Now this is post. Think about it now, though. We're post NIL. We're post transfer portal. The NFL is much like college now. Maybe it's not such a transition now that you've gotten players getting paid.
Yeah, but it's even if you're paying, these are still kids that are 17 to 22, 23. When you're in the NFL, you have to deal with kids who are becoming men and who have a lot of money, who have a lot of.
Everybody's getting paid a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got
Carlos faded to black there like Jay-Z. I think he'll come back on. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes that happens. But I'll keep the program going. I know Dabo probably didn't like what he had to say. Well, no, he went off. Maybe he'll come back on here in just a second, and I'll plug him back in. If not, I'll have him call on the program. I think. Well, let's see. There he is.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. That Dabo got ticked off at you and kicked you off there. But anyways,
they try to put a Jimmy Kimmel on me, and I said no.
Fade you to black. Hey,
no,
man.
But I think if he gets an opportunity, it's the right fit for him. I think it's something that he might go into. But I never heard, and I never seen him on TV ever talk about wanting to be in the NFL as the head coach.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm with you. I have not heard that either, but things change, you know. Nick Saban said he wouldn't do what he did. He went going back to college, and Urban Meyer, I really didn't think he would ever take a pro job, and he took one. It backfired. Now he can look at Urban Meyer and see and Steve Spurrier as a cautionary tale. One thing I do think about a guy like Dabo Swinney, I think he's a flexible person. I think he's a people's person. I get a sense he's a lot like Dane Campbell up there in Detroit. You know, I think he would consider it if he thought that he had a general manager he can get along with. He had a decent owner. He had a good quarterback set up. Had a quarterback on a rookie salary. Some type of maybe like a Cam Ward or something with Tennessee in a year or two. Now his buyout $60 million. He won't do nothing this year. I don't think Clemson will do nothing with him this year. But next year it's like $4 million. Maybe he has a mediocre year this year, and then next year he just says, you know what? 7 jobs opening. Let's see, if one of them's right for me. And if they fire him, there'll be somebody else that would hire him in college.
I think it sounds like you're just tired of Callahan, which I told you was a bad pick to begin with anyways.
Yeah. You probably saw my clip, didn't you? Brian Callahan leads the NFL in penalties. The Tennessee Titans lead the NFL in penalties. He didn't know the elbow down rule or something like that in the Denver game. Cam Ward is talking over him when he's calling the play into the helmet in preseason. You can't lead the NFL in penalties if you've got a rookie quarterback and expect to win anything, So yeah, I wouldn't mind replacing him with with this guy or Mike McCarthy and your boy Rex Ryan to run the defense since he lives here in Nashville. So I've already got it all planned out.
Yeah, so you got a plan. You got a plan that you want to put in place, but the world ain't working with your plan right now, man.
Well, you know what? That's why I really would like to get my man Rich to get me a job here on Cumulus Radio 104.5, and almost because y'all know she listens to that, Amy Adams Strong, and I'm gonna tell her, hey, listen, Amy, we're building this dome down here that the city's footing half the bill, and 60,000 people. It's going to be about 10,000 seats less. Why not make a big splash and go after a real coach here that's got a Super Bowl ring, that won a first playoff win in 30 years, first road playoff win in 30 years in Dallas Cowboys. You remember that? So not a bad coach, and get a guy like a Rex Ryan to run the defense here and make a splash in 2027. With this new dome, you got the quarterback in year 2 or 3, it'd be year 3 at that point, still on a rookie contract, and make a run at the Super Bowl. That would be my pitch to her. Hopefully that'll all be a moot point. They'll play well this weekend. They'll beat the Colts, and they'll get off the schneid. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Tobacco? Since we're on it, Tennessee. Yeah, losing to the Rams like that.
I feel like there's nowhere to go but up.
Yes.
Right? So, and they got to be positive. They have to play for the job more than their coach at this point.
So you're not liking Callahan either.
I never thought Callahan was a good fit for the Titans. I didn't like the fact that he was dangling that carrot of his father to fix the line.
Fix the line, yeah. That's what I like.
And I didn't like that because as much as his father's a good coach and had good experiences for that time frame, it's a different NFL now, and I think it's for Callahan. It's he's way over his head. His coaching staff is not up to par to assist him to be able to spread that wealth out that he's got there of choices to make and big plays to draw up. So, if you guys ever listened to me with Keith a few years ago, I talked negative about some of these coaches that are coaching now because I didn't feel like they were going to be good fits for the teams that they're on now, which were the Jets, the Giants, and the Titans, the three teams that I follow. Not in any particular order. And people are like, "Oh, you're just upset." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
combined
"Nah,
0-6 right now.
yeah, like
You're doing pretty good with your negativity.
yeah, so it just
That's 1, 2, and 3 in next year's draft, huh?
yeah, right. And
I'm
I've been
just
saying
kidding. I
that.
hope not. But
No,
yeah,
I mean, I've been saying that they're gonna be in the top 5 picks, those three teams, and
yeah,
it's because as much as this is the thing, and I like that the NFL has an opportunity to give guys new guys coaching experiences, but they sometimes there's places that those guys can fit, sometimes there's places that they cannot, and no new coach fits, but no young new coach fits in the New York scene.
yeah,
And that's because you got to win fast, and you got to win a lot, and you got to be in the playoffs because that's the
yeah.
expectation. I know
All
it's like
right.
that in every team has that expectation, but New York is different because New York you're paying triple the price for everything nice.
Yeah,
Everything you want in New
careful.
York costs triple. So that's the only reason. And so you got to keep the fans happy, and you got to keep them engaged. You got to keep them coming in. And if you're losing, it's tough. It's bad business. So
Yeah, yeah. I hear you, dude. I hear you. Okay. We'll go ahead and get that quick recap on. We got that game out of the way. We got Jacksonville out of the way. What's your thoughts about? Man, is Detroit back? I thought they looked really good against the Bears. I didn't think they would exploit the Bears secondary like that. 5 touchdowns. I think he had 3 completions for Jared Goff. Really put on a clinic. What's your thoughts on that game, man?
yeah, that game, the Bears didn't look like they were in the game until like after halftime. And they started coming and creeping back, which Detroit needs to be careful because you can't hang out on the field after halftime because you're winning by 20. Like you gotta still play defense and play the game. So I feel like that game gave us an idea of what those two teams are about and how they can be exploited. Detroit came out. They lost the week before, so they came out and won, which is important, right? For them.
Yeah.
And the Bears, they have talent. You can see it. They're just not putting it together, and there's no flow, there's no balance yet. But they have talent, and it's almost like every time Caleb Williams gets into a flow, Ben
Yeah.
Johnson tells him to back up, stay in the pocket, and see if he can find somebody down the field. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting it, but it'll come together.
Yeah, I think so too. If not, Ben Johnson's got to look deep within himself and say, this game plan, this system's not working. If he don't trust Caleb Williams, they're just going to have to start running the ball more. They got DeAndre Swift. They've got a decent offensive line. There's just no excuse for them to look awful like they have at times, And Colin Cowherd pointed out he's all pro Caleb Williams. Now he's all tearing down Caleb Williams. But he said the guy had 3 completions after he started off on fire in the first few drives. Well, that's once you get off script and you have to just do the plays as they're called in. He's saying maybe they play Tyson Badgett at some point. I just say, rotate your playbook a little bit, put some more design runs in there, and just turn into a running team and just build back over from scratch. I think you could do that in the middle of the season. You don't have to go totally crazy, but that don't mean you can't call more running plays. There are too many good athletes on that team for them to play this bad.
Like, even when Caleb Williams throws a bad pass, Moore or Ozune, they can get to it. That's how much talent these wide receivers have.
I love Ozune.
Yeah, they can get to the ball. So I feel like the problem is more between the coaching staff and the quarterback. And again, another young coach.
Yeah.
Coming from a system, thinking that he could just put the same system on a different team, that just doesn't happen. You got to play with the team you have, and you have to use the talents to the best of their ability. And like you said, they even got a running back in Swift. I don't understand why you wouldn't put a fullback or O-line man just to give him that small little window that he needs to crack for open for a bigger game. Like mix it up with your running game, but make sure that your running game has an opportunity. Put a fullback or a running back there, because Swift is about 5'5".
I think they'll bounce back this week, though. The fact that they got humiliated like that.
Yeah, but
yeah, and a lot of that is their secondary's banged up, and they should have got beat like that, though.
No, and again, if you watched the game from the second half, it seemed like it was a much closer game, and the Bears were just starting to get everything flowing again. But you can't play football like that. You can't play from behind. You can't wait to and look, if they take this loss, but I hope for the Bears that they change it around, and then the next time they play Detroit, they beat them. That's the only that's the only thing you can hope for them, right? So
we'll see what happens. It's early in the season. A lot of things can happen. It's only 2 weeks in. Seattle beat Pittsburgh. I tell you what, Pittsburgh's defense is just all that money spent, man. And Kenneth Walker having a field day. The kick returner did not. How do you let a kickoff go out of bounds like that? How do you avoid? That's like the ultimate rookie mistake. That's a live ball on a kickoff. Everybody knows that. I made that mistake on Madden years ago when a guy scored a touchdown. I was like, oh, man. Because I'm used to it just going in the end zone.
Right, running backwards, right? Remember, you just catch the ball and you run backwards.
Yeah. For a punt, you can go away from it if you feel like you're going to get blasted and fumbled on the game. But stuff like that, Tomlin and Rodgers did not have the greatest day. The receivers trying to cut each other off. It was a great win by Seattle, winning on the road like that. What's your thoughts on that? We had that one wrong, unfortunately. But Tomlin, you can't don't make them favorites too much, man. They play down the competition every time.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like the Seahawks came out and did what they had to do. They came back from a loss, but they have one of those defenses that are young, fast. I talked about them last year.
Pretty hungry, yeah.
And I was like, they don't remember nothing. They don't remember anything. So they just play the next, play like it is. And I like that about them. And that's going to help this team eventually become getting a playoff run. Listen, my magic number is 27. You don't score 27, you ain't winning this game. And if you're not thinking like that, and you're Pittsburgh and you want to diddle daddle field goals and punts and try to win a game 17-10 or 14 to that ain't gonna happen, man. This isn't that NFL no more.
He's a dated coach that probably should retire now, but he's gonna play out that whole 20 years, then he's retire, like Ralph Williams said.
It's crazy.
It is what it is. Good win for Seattle. A little tight on time here. Let's move on there, Chief. Philadelphia. I told you I thought that'd be a pretty close game. And then maybe Philly pull away at it for a touchdown at the very end. Kansas City made it much closer than I thought it would be. I don't think Kansas City's in trouble. I think they just had some injuries. What are your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, Philadelphia, I thought should have did a lot better with that situation.
Right. They only scored 20 points in that game.
Right. And I'm with you. I think we both picked Philly, right?
Yeah, we both picked Philly. I thought they'd win by a touchdown. You thought they'd win by like 4 or 5 points. I can't remember what you put, but
yeah, I think my score was pretty close to that. But I think my score was higher, but
the defenses really showed up for both teams. Yeah.
So Philadelphia will be okay. They're gonna keep going on this run. The Chiefs, though, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back for this, and again, Mahomes needs to be focused. 27 plus a game, they're gonna be okay. They start doing what Pittsburgh's doing, thinking that they could just stay in games and try to beat teams by field goals, that they're not gonna make the playoffs, man. I'm telling you right now, you cannot. And the thing is, that Pat Mahomes, he don't think like that either, though. He's gonna try to get a touchdown every time he's on the field, But if they try to reel him in, tell him to slow the game down, try to eat minutes, you're gonna mess with this guy's flow, and you're gonna get what you get. So.
Yeah. I like the fact that he hit Traquan Thornton for a 49-yard touchdown towards the end of in the second half. He missed him early in the game. That guy's a speedster. They're going to get Worthy back. He might even be back this week. Luckily for them, they get to play your Giants next week, and they'll give them their third loss. And
Mark that a win for them.
Yeah, that Giants will help them get their swag back, and we'll see how that plays out. Tampa. Okay, so we're tied now. The only game we really, and like I said, I didn't count the fight. I didn't count the Thursday night matchup. But Tampa, man, another road win there. Now, they keep falling apart. They've had a defensive tackle that was injured for the season after that game. They've got an offensive lineman that's going to be out for another offensive lineman. But it's a great win there. I mean, kudos to Baker Mayfield and that coaching staff and that general manager for, building the depth there. What's your thoughts about that? It was a gutty win there on Monday night. Good win for Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, they started off rolling, and I was like, okay, they're gonna keep scoring and keep going, and that defense of Texas came up to play. They showed that they was ready to battle and try to get a win. They did very well. They missed a few small little things here and there. The interception and things that happen. But I didn't think that the Tampa Bay Bucks were going to go and shut Texas out. I didn't think that at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a close game, and it was. And I came out on top of that pick, but it's not about me, man. These guys on the defense, man, they help that offense be on the field and eat up yards in time and grind this game out. And it became a good game. At first it just looked like the Bucks were gonna take this game over, but Texans didn't real back, man. They did good, and I like that. They're very competitive. So kudos to them. And
Texas. I said I didn't pick Texas to win this division. They had too many. I thought they'd win because they were just a healthier team at home.
Right.
Monday night, excuse me. But I just think overall they're rotating way too many offensive linemen there with the new offensive. And plus, Stroud is not having the best year. I mean, I ain't saying he's taking a major step back, but he's not the guy he was his rookie year,
right.
And he's still trying to recoup from that. I know they've had a bunch of injuries at receiver, except for Nico Collins, but we'll see what happens. They play again this week. Any quick take on Canelo Crawford? Crawford held in there, like I said, I thought he would, and got the decision win. Great fight. Came on too late, but great fight.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of people were stunned that there wasn't more of a he didn't come out as edgy as usual. Usually he gets hit or gets attacked, and then he tries to fight back.
He had a lot of respect for Crawford's speed, didn't he?
He did, and then this is one of the last two fights I think that has now starting to show his age because of the speed, the lack of the speed, that he can't do what he used to be able to do on the inside and the outside. So he doesn't have that foot speed that he used to. Still kind of has the stamina, still taking too many hits, but when you get older, man, you can't do the things that you used to do. And I feel like if he can't overcome that, then he should just look on and moving on. Like, if you can't overcome the things that you used to be able to do and change yourself for what you can do, then in boxing, especially, not just all the sports, but in boxing, man, speed isn't essential. It's not essential. It's necessary, but it's not essential. And you got to be able to grind out, and he can't grind out these long rounds like he used to. He needs to change or move on. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and Crawford he's coming up 30 pounds like that, and he looked like a young Ali there, man, flying like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. Canelo could never get him in the corner. I mean, he just bounced right out of it and stick and move, man. I actually fell asleep at like 10 o'clock, woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and had it saved right there, and just slowly fast forward to the actual fight through all that nonsense and got a chance to actually finish it and thought, man, that was a pretty good fight there. It was about 2 hours too late, for the start time. But that was my biggest knock on it. 40 million people watched it. Really good fight there. So this week, All right. Like I said, we're dead even now. I was up 1. We're dead even now. Um, let's see. I'm trying to find the games.
Who you got right now? Dolphins and Bills. Who we got?
Obviously, I got the Bills at home. You know, they're
I'm not. I usually try to bet against them, but not this Dolphins team. Maybe 2 years ago, but not this one.
Man, this Dolphin team, man, they looks like they quit on this guy, man.
I
think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I think the moves that they made and losing some of these top key players affected them more than they thought it would. And I think they tried to save a little bit of money on the back end on some of these contracts that they gave away some of these higher end better players, and I think it just caught up with them. Like, so,
Yeah.
you know,
well,
sometimes
you really can't pay 2 receivers a ton of money. That just most of the time that's going to backfire between Tyreek Hill and Waddle,
right.
And then of course they're paying Tua now. Also,
Right.
you're going to have a. That's what I was afraid with Cincinnati. You know.
Right.
But and Tua's already kind of limited player anyways. But I tell you what, Arizona had a great win last week, although Carolina almost came back and beat them. Playing really well. They're undefeated. They're on the road to San Francisco.
That's right.
Starting, folks, we're starting for my clip purposes. We're starting the NFL best top 5 games of the week. Arizona, 2.5-point underdogs. I was going to pick Arizona for this game. I had to look and study that injury report, and believe it or not, man, other than the Mac Jones, who had 39 pass attempts, but he hit 26 of them, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He looked good. Mac Jones.
Taking the
Mac
bait.
Jones. Back then, you didn't know me. Now you're hot. You all on me. That was, of course, against the god-awful New Orleans Saints. They have also got 2 road wins to start the season, like your Tampa Bay Bucks. They actually are healthier than Arizona. Arizona's got a couple of cornerbacks. One of them's going to be out for a while. The other one is questionable. I actually think the 49ers, although Arizona matches up well against them, they actually beat San Francisco in San Francisco last year at this time. But I'm taking 49ers home 24-20. Mac Jones gets his second win over Kyler Murray. What's your thoughts about that game?
He's playing more like Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. I don't trust Mac. Not even in the cheese that he's making over there. I don't trust Mac Jones. I'm going with the smaller Kyler Murray. They got a flow going. When they get 2 and 3 games going, they usually win 3 or 4 in a row. Anyways, this will be their 3rd in a row. They kind of play like that. They play up and then they kind of
Well, they usually play well in September, so I can see you possibly winning this one.
I got this one 28-14.
Arizona,
yeah.
With the big road win. All right. Hey, man, you never know, man. You just never know. That's why you have to play the games.
That's why you got to play the
games. Houston, Jacksonville. Now, Jags are a slight favorite at home, 2.5. Now, Houston's a wounded animal, 0-2. You got to watch that. They're going to be somewhat desperate down there. And Houston also, like Arizona, matches up traditionally. They matched up really well with Jacksonville. They swept Jacksonville last year. That being said, they are playing on a short week. They've had their share of injuries as well. Houston has. Jacksonville got ticked off after losing that close game they gave away on the road at Cincinnati. This game is in Jacksonville. Houston played late Monday night. I like the Jags to beat Houston and get the 27-20 win over the Texans and knock Houston to 0-3. But this could go the other way, man. What's your thoughts about Texans, Jaguars, which potentially still could be the division, although the Colts may be a little bit of fool's gold. They're leading it right now 2-0.
Yeah, no, it's something's in the air because we picking up the same scent. I got this game 27-24. You got it 21, but
Jags?
I like the Jags to win this game at
Okay.
home. You know, Lawrence is going to step up. Everybody's going to step up a little bit. The defense will probably be upset, and they need to step it up. If they don't want, some of these players don't want to lose their jobs. So, and they know in Jacksonville that they can lose their job quick. So that owner and that GM, they cut people fast. So
That's true, man.
so
Okay. I had 27-20. What was your score again?
27-24.
27-24. One of your favorite scores there.
It's a kicking game, bro. You got to get on that kicking game.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Denver at LA. Let me say this. For a minute there, I actually thought I was going to pick Denver. And Denver got a good defense, man. Man, I started looking at Bo Nix's numbers there. And I told you at the very beginning, I said they're slightly overrated. I said Tennessee had 4 or 5 shots to beat them. They had a knucklehead call. An idiot basically jumped over the line of scrimmage on a kick there. Or they would have beat 2-0. They would have beat the Colts, but the guy did go jump the line of scrimmage, and the Colts get 5 yards closer, and then they end up hitting the field goal. But Bo Nix, here's his numbers: 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, quarterback rating of 43.5. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, quarterback rating of 81.7, tied for third in the NFL. Totally opposite numbers. Guys playing at an MVP level here. The bad news for the Chargers, they did lose Khalil Mack for a few weeks, but the good news is he's not going to be done for a season. It's just they got a slight elbow issue. Should be back here shortly. The Chargers also played on Monday night. That's another reason I thought about. That's what I get for taking Denver, but that's not going to be the case. I'm going to go with Jim Harbaugh's LA Chargers 23-17. This will be a good game, though. This will be a tight one. 23-17, Chargers win and go to 3-0 and continue to lead the AFC West.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You've been high on the Chargers since last year, man.
Man. I picked Kansas City in week 1, and then Kansas City let me down.
I don't believe the hype. I don't. Again, you got to show me that you ready to be in the next.
You hyped on Denver now?
I like Denver because I like that they don't quit. They're gonna stay in every game. They're gonna be in a dogfight, and somebody gonna have a big bite, and the other team is just gonna be like, okay, because I don't feel like the Chargers are a tough team. They don't play tough. They're very even when they score, so I feel like unless they get tough and gritty, I'm not saying I want to see them be the Eagles, but play hard, get your points, and not just on offense but on defense, and so until they do that, until they get a little bit more rough around the edges, I can't root for them to be deep in a playoff. So I think this game they're gonna lose.
What's the score?
And I think Broncos come up. I think it's going to be like 32-27.
32-27 Denver?
Yeah, I feel like Denver's going to come out trying to, they know that they don't got to face Mac. They know that defense is a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Plus, they played on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
This will be an exciting game. This will be a one-score game. I just love me some Harbaugh. I love me some Justin Herbert at this point.
Yeah, it's too much right now. That's too much. that's like if you just want a piece of toast and jelly and they're giving you a brisket and in a full barbecue.
Yeah, I haven't had jelly and toast and Fred. That sounds like a good idea, man.
You just want some
great
and
jelly
you get
and some butter. That's what's up, man. I gotta go grocery shopping tomorrow. I'm gonna give probably some. I tell you what, I have been eating here lately: croissants by Kroger, the cream cheese. Man, love it, Chief. Okay, the Rams at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, like we were talking about earlier, they have not been setting the world on fire offensively. 20 points Sunday. The Thursday before that, 24 points. I know there was a lay there and everything against Dallas's defense. And look what they gave up against your Giants. A lot of people may pick the Rams in this game. This is only, I want to say, a 3-point spread here.
Right. Yeah.
A.J. Brown, by the way, last week, 27 yards receiving yards. And then you got Barkley was held under 100 yards. But, Kansas City still got pretty decent defense, man. That being said, the Rams had to come here to Nashville. They played the Titans here in the Central Time Zone. They had to fly all the way back to L.A., and then they're going to fly to L.A. They're going to go back to Philadelphia and play a 1 o'clock Eastern early start time. I think Barkley will have a good day, and I do think that the Eagles, this will be a pretty day out there. I'm sure Jamie's going to go crazy. There's going to be some points scored. I think this could be a big breakthrough game for an A.J. Brown. But I think that the Rams will find a way to make this interesting like they did last time they played. 30-27, though, Eagles will win. They will win this game, but the Rams keep it interesting. What's your thoughts on that game?
I think the Eagles defense slowly getting into a flow of things. I think the offense needs to find itself a little bit. They need to get Saquon going. But the Eagles are the most balanced team right now on both sides of the field. I feel like that defense is going to give the Rams some problems. I don't feel like they're going to be able to they're going to put Stafford on his butt, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, they may reignite that back injury.
Yeah,
and it can be
I got that game at 27-21.
Eagles?
Yeah, Eagles up on that one, yeah.
Okay. Last tier of the pro games. Man, I'll tell you what, I would love for the Detroit Lions to win this game. In my mind. Just to hear Dan Campbell's post-game speech, which is the best thing since wrestling, R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. I would just like to hear him giving out game balls in the morning just to, get a morning workout. He's so motivational, man. I played it last week when he was giving out game balls to everybody. Audemars St. Brown had 3 touchdowns against a banged-up secondary against the Bears. But they're playing at Baltimore. Only real injury of note here as of today is Jack Campbell, and that's a linebacker for Detroit. Last time they played, this is the game that really turned my opinion on Lamar Jackson here. It was 2 years ago, and you picked it, and I lost it. It's 38-6. Ravens routed. They routed Detroit. I don't think it'll be that bad this time because this is going to be a Sunday night game. A lot of pride. Brian Branch, the safety, said, "Hey, let's don't celebrate too much." And that was a little post game saying, "We got Baltimore next week." In other words, we know we got humiliated last year. But either way, I still like the Ravens to win this game. 33-24. Ravens win Sunday night. And probably won't be able to play a Dan Campbell post-game speech, not unless it's the other way around. What's your thoughts about Baltimore, Detroit?
Yeah, man, I'm not on that Detroit train. They still have a lot to prove to me. I like that their fan base is on that train and they hooting and hollering and boop, boop, but them and the Bills can play for the not going to be in the Super Bowl tournament. Look, the Ravens are a good team. They need to follow up. They need to win. This would be a big win for them. So I feel like the team's going to come out and do well. Derrick Henry didn't play well at all last game, so maybe he has to catch his wind and play and put a little steam in this game. So I feel like this is going to be one of those games. It's like 30-24, and the Ravens are going to win this.
Oh, so you're saying Detroit keeps it close?
Yeah.
They're not a blowout.
They can't. They won't blow out this Detroit team.
Okay.
But they'll.
Well, that'll keep it interesting. Then I'm saying that maybe they pull away at the end, but I don't think it'll be a 3-score game or anything like it. Could be, but we'll see.
Here's the thing: if Derrick Henry scores 2 touchdowns.
Oh, if he gets in earlier, if Lamar runs about a 50-yard the route could be on because I could see Goff starting to see shadows out there. He's just no Josh Allen where he can just get out of it and throw the ball downfield.
If he gets hit, if Jared Goff gets hit, this is gonna be a long game for the Detroit Lions, man.
Yeah, that's true. He's gonna have to play well. Hopefully, that momentum from last week will come over into this game. Man, I tell you what, this is a big game. Numbers wise, you might not think so, but I want to say it's the biggest game of the weekend. I thought it was the most interesting. Auburn and Oklahoma. Oklahoma way better than people thought they were. I thought Brett Venables was dead man walking, kind of like Billy Napier with Florida right now. But this transfer they got, this John Matter, that quarterback, they're pretty good with this guy. And Auburn, I was impressed with Auburn. By the way, Oklahoma, number one defense in the SEC, one of the best defenses in the country right now statistically. Now, we're only but this is game 4. They're a week ahead of the NFL. This is game 4 for college here. But this game, they played last year, by the way. And Auburn beat them in every statistical category except the score. Had some turnovers there at the end. And this other quarterback Auburn had, Thune or whatever, he just couldn't throw the ball at the end. And Oklahoma just, messed around and won at the end. But they did win. Auburn, I do like their quarterback. They got a new quarterback as well. They did with this quarterback, and let me get this guy's name. This is Jackson Arnold. Yeah, Jackson Arnold here. I like the way they played against Baylor. They say, well, Baylor, it's just Baylor. No, it was at Baylor. Baylor last week. The next week later went up to SMU and beat SMU, who's 17th ranked in the country. I really want to pick Auburn in this game because it's, I like Hugh Freeze over Brett Venables. But after looking at that quarterback, this guy's ran 5 touchdowns in. He's a dual threat guy, this Matter, just like this guy Arnold is for Auburn. So I say all that. I know it's a mouthful, but unfortunately, kind of like the Ravens game, I want to say 27-20. This will be a tight game. Oklahoma will win this game, and they'll probably jump a little higher. They'll probably jump in the top 10. They're 11th right now. What's your thoughts on this game? Auburn's 22nd in the country, by the way. Undefeated.
Yeah, I think Auburn's going to stay in the bottom half of that ranking. I think this guy is like a little bit like a Baker Mayfield meets Kyler Murray.
That quarterback for Auburn?
Yeah, no, for Oklahoma. He's
got some legs on him, don't he?
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and it's good for Oklahoma, and it helps him out. And he could throw a little bit, so that maybe if he throws a couple more, spread the ball out a bit more, that make that game even more difficult for Auburn. So I like the Oklahoma team a little bit more than I like the Auburn team right now, and I think they're gonna win this game. Not score wise, they're probably gonna go over. What's the game? How many points is the game at?
I'll have to look and see.
The game is at. Let me look and see. Because it's a 3:30 game too, so it's a little bit later. It's not the morning. It's not.
Yeah. I think I sent this to you. Oh, the over/under is 47.5. So I said 27-20, which is right at 47. Yeah. Oklahoma's a 6.5 point favorite. Auburn could beat them. They could beat. That's why I could.
Yeah, I'm not a betting guy, but I would go for the over.
Probably because the weather's really good. I'll say that, and they'll have a lightning warning. Do you have anything else you need to add?
Nah, man. I appreciate you having me. Like, these games are closer and making me sweat. My fantasy.
You don't like to lose to me, do you?
My fantasy league teams are starting to look more like a fantasy than a team.
That's why they're the biggest games. They ain't supposed to be blowouts, brother.
Yeah, some of these things are not happening the way that that you try to make them out on paper. But
right,
it's good. It's fun. It's NFL season. The baseball's ending right now, and they're going to start beginning the playoffs, and the World Series is coming up. So it's a great time to be a sports fan. If you guys have any questions, hit us up. Like the show.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm gonna try to get a playoff baseball thing going here, and school just started here in New York, so
Yeah.
it's just kind of hit me like a waterfall. So
I didn't get your take on Tennessee, Georgia. I'm sorry. Do you have any take on that game? I thought basically Tennessee ran out of gas. But the positive I took from that game is Tennessee. It feels like they closed the talent gap with Georgia overall.
Yeah, and again, I said it on the show, and we talked
It'll be a
about,
higher
like,
scoring game, and you called that. I think you
Yeah.
did call that.
I was like, it's gonna be a kicking game, and and ended up
Oh,
being a
kicking game. Yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
and it ended up being they were closer, and I said I want Tennessee to win, but we both picked Georgia at the end.
Both
of the
picked
day.
Georgia, yeah.
So we got that, and
But it
it's
was so much closer than I thought it would be,
so amazing that it had to be a field goal, the difference of a field goal, but it's what it is, part of the game, right? You can't just take that part out of the game, so.
Yeah, that kid looked like a deer in headlights, man. I knew he was going to miss it, man.
It's all the orange and white, man. It looked like a construction zone, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do.
All right, buddy. Man, New Yorker, everybody here.
Yo, thanks for having.
Hold on. Got some great takes tonight, man. We got a big weekend. Bad New Yorker, man. Have a good night, everybody.